Hello everybody and welcome. I'm back with another video today, and this one is a very special one because I have a guest here. His name is Felix. He is my brother. You've never seen in my videos before, but you might see him a little bit more often from now on. And yeah, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Felix, I'm 13 years old, and of course I'm the brother of this guy. You may have seen in some of the other videos. And I were always interested for a long time in the videos my brother made, and often helped him to do some of the intros or to film some of the intros. And but why am I here today? Well, simply because I want to help my brother do these videos a little better. Now we are coming to the serious part. Of course, you clicked this video to learn something about Calotte. But before we talk about that, we are doing a little review back to OPFC. Now, with OPFC or Oliver and Pfeffer coatings, you can calculate the Young's module of your material. In this video, he then calculated that 3 times with an example. First, he got the values by doing the OPFC method on only the substrate. Then he did it again with one layer, and then again with the whole material, which was a 2-layer system. But the problem is that when we put another layer on top, the properties of the layers before change. That is why I asked my brother to explain it to me, how it works. And he said, this is quite simple. And that is why I'm interviewing him now. So can you please tell us more about that?
So yeah, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. As you said, this is correct. Many layers. For example, over here you can see one. Many materials and objects use a multi-layer system to protect their substrate a little bit better. And this is one example. We have, as you can see, many layers stacked on top of each other. And the problem with that, of course, is every time you find out the values of those layers and you put another layer on top of it, the values of that layer before change. And also, in order to get every single property of every single layer, you would have to stop your production after each layer that was added. So yeah, that is indeed a problem. But we have a way to solve it, and you can even find this method in the FilmDoctor and can play around with it. And this method is called Calo Indent Method, or just Calotte.
And how does it work?
So this is very simple. With the Calo Indent Method, you kind of grind a big crater into your material so that all your layers and also your substrate are now on the surface of this crater. For example, here you can see it very well. And then you choose points in which you now press into and use your usual OPFC method, like this one. These are marking points in which you can see where we just pressed into it and now got data from it. And that you can again use in the OPFC to get all the values out of it.
And what could these measurements be?
These measurements could be literally anything. You could use scratch, simple indents, or even rotations. You can play around with whatever you want and whatever you need in your example. Yeah, you can literally use anything the FilmDoctor can calculate with that.
And is it difficult to do calotte grinding?
Not at all. Calotte grinding is quite simple. As I've already explained to you, these are not too many steps that you have to remember. Here I have I'm gonna go over it, how it works with the FilmDoctor, how you would do it. Here we have a practical example. This is one such Calotte crater, and in this crater, if we zoom in here, you can see it. If we zoom in, you can see different points, and these are the points where we indent, or where we just press in our indenter to get the values out of there. And now that is basically it. All you have to do is, with the practical example over here, create a crater and then take measurements from your different points and different layers. Then once this is done, all you have to do is put them into your FilmDoctor, define your material, obviously, because the FilmDoctor needs to know with what we are working with, and then just add in those points, which are going to be inverted to curves, which I've shown in the OPFC video. Again, if you want to know a little bit more about OPFC, it makes this video a little bit easier to understand. The link is going to be in the description. And yeah, that's basically all you have to do in the FilmDoctor. Once you did that, everything is done. And yeah, the FilmDoctor is gonna spit out some data. That's it. It's simply as that.
And why would it be a good idea to do calotte grinding?
Now, calotte grinding is again, as I already said, an easy and cheap way to find out the properties of your layers and your material. And very often people have these devices with which you can create calotte craters and do these indents for the OPFC, for example, or pressing into your material. They already have these devices in their labs. Also, there is another option that you could indeed do, and it is when you just cut your material in half and then you look at it vertically. But the problem with that thing is that the layers are or the areas in which you can calculate, or in which you can do your tests, are much smaller than in this huge crater, where you have a lot of space created by every single, you have a lot of space to analyze your layers, as you can see in this video. For example, this layer, we don't even have any points in this layer, or any measurement points in this layer, because it is just such a small point.
That sounds great, but could you please tell a little bit more, maybe with an example, so it's easier to understand?
Of course, I can do that. I've prepared one. This is how it works in detail. Here we have a 2-layer system, just like in my OPFC video, and a crater already done for us. As I said, you're gonna create a crater, then measure each and every point that you want to measure and find out the values. And yeah, that's basically it. Put that into the FilmDoctor, and he's gonna spit out every single data that you need to know. For example, the max for me stresses, as you already said, is calculated. Then we have something like this picture. This is just a picture for the substrate, where we have this point gives out this data. And then of course we do it with the second one. And here we have the measurement point for this thing over here.
What do you mean with true thickness?
True thickness, yes, interesting question. True thickness is, as you can see in this picture. Now, it is not possible for us to calculate with the whole layer thickness, because at the top of the layer there already starts the second layer, in this example. So our calculating point is right over here. And because this isn't the whole layer and not the complete layer thickness, we have added something called the true layer thickness. And in this case, it is 80 nanometers. And yeah, this is basically true thickness.
Whoa, that's very small.
Oh yes, it is indeed. We were pretty proud to achieve such a small length. And yeah, over here, I've already calculated everything. You don't have to do much. This is the last picture that we've got. Of course, you can, as you can see here, I've already made a point on the surface. You could do that also in the Calotte, but we don't have to do this. This is basically it. You get out these 3 measurement datas, or as many points as you want. So yeah, we are back, and this time back with the FilmDoctor Studios. And yeah, you know this page. This is the home page. And basically the Calotte analyzers, you're going to find that over here. And yeah, I've basically already have a project for you completely done. So we don't have to calculate it anymore, but you've seen it, how fast it was calculating. And yeah, as soon as we open up Calotte, the Calotte module over here, yeah, you know this page?
Yes, that's the material page from FilmDoctor Simulation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Here you can define the material and the hardness and thickness, for example. Yes.
Yeah, that is correct. Over here you can define the whole material, basically, how many layers you want to have, and what kind of properties these layers are supposed to have. For example, the layer thickness. You can do that over here. There currently is a small visual bug. It's because of my computer. It is, I don't know, it kind of just cuts that away. This is supposed to be micrometers. And yeah, basically, if I were to add another layer, if I wanted to, you could say how you want it to look like. You could say it is an aluminium layer, and then once you press aluminium, it is gonna take over all the properties of this aluminium that you just added. So FilmDoctor is a great way to define your material. It makes it very easy to you. But we don't want that. We want to keep it that way. So basically, once you are done defining your material from your test that you did, you're gonna press on OK. And this one is a new page. And yeah, basically what you want to do here, every time you, from every point or indent that you did in your test, which I explained before, you will get curves. Oh, not those curves. Those curves. And yeah, those curves just stand for how deep your indenter pressed into your material, and then what kind of indent it left.
Why is the one curve so big?
So this one curve is the substrate curve, or when the indenter pressed into our substrate. It is so big, or the depth is so huge, because substrates are often very weak. So if you press on a plain substrate, your indenter is going to get inside really, really far. That is why the whole layer systems exist. It is to protect your substrate, and yeah, that is basically why we have such a huge curve when we look just at the substrate. So then over here, what you do here, basically those things are our curves that I've just shown you, and those you get just from your test that you did before that, and you can load them over here. And yeah, it's just very simple. Then of course you also have to define how your crater looks like, and that's what you can do here. As you can see, this is our crater.
And what are these little points for?
These little dots, they are basically the points where you pressed with your indenter, the points where you tested the measurement points that we've shown before. So yeah, as you can see, I've already put in all the variables and all the data so that you don't have to see me do it. But yeah, that's basically it. Once you're done with that, you can press on OK. And yeah, then you can press over here on Start Series Analysis. And what this is going to do, it is basically going to run through all your data and get out your results. And I've already done that for you. As you know, it was really quick. And yeah, those are your results. Whoa, or already spoiled. Yeah. So now basically everyone who watched OPFC knows what this is. This is where this is all the points. No, this is not all the points. This is all your variables, all the data that you've got from it. And yeah, this one is the important one, max for me stress. This just shows us what the max for me stress for our substrate is. The new thing over here is the different steps. We have, as you can see here, the different steps. Those just mean the different measurement points. You just run from this one over here was the first measurement point in only our substrate. Then we had one down at the second layer, or like the layer on top of the substrate. Then another layer. And this one is 0.3, 0.4, and 0.5. And yeah, this is basically it. It just gave out all of the data, and you can look at each an individual point, and then you can see what happened in your material. And that's basically all you have to know about Calotte in the FilmDoctor. As you can see, it is really simple. Only thing you have to do is put it into your FilmDoctor, get all the data in, and then let the FilmDoctor work with it. That's basically it. And then we have the different steps, and you can look at each individual point, measurement point, and collect the data. Very, very simple. So yes, Felix, thank you for the interview. It was very interesting.
Yes, thank you for explaining me all this.
I hope you've learned something, and yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Yes. Bye.